Hello Seekers, welcome back to my channel. This is Amanda Artemisa Forrester, rune reader, diviner, and polytheist mystic. And today I'm bringing you the video on Empath Self-Care. So the second part of what I started a couple weeks ago. And this one will probably be a little longer because before we were just basically defining what an empath is and the difference between an empath and a highly sensitive person. So just quick refresher if you didn't see that one. An empath is a person who can sense energies around them, but especially people's moods. And for somebody who is untrained, it can be very overwhelming. Eventually, many people do learn to control it and shield themselves better. But for many people, especially younger empaths, being constantly bombarded by everyone else's emotions is extremely, extremely tiring. Many people who are empaths are caregivers at heart and might even be work in the caring professions like nursing or a doctor. I used to actually work as a caregiver in a home for developmentally disabled adults, and that's not unusual for empaths. They might instead work with animals instead of people, but caring is one of the core traits of an empath. But the biggest problem with that is empaths tend to give and give and give so much because they feel everyone's pain that often they'll ignore their own, and that's not just to their own detriment but to the world's, because when that empath has a breakdown, and eventually they will, because nobody can run on empty forever. You can't keep giving from an empty cup. You have to fill your own cup. When they have a breakdown, the world loses a rare and beautiful resource if that empath can't keep giving. And I'm not telling an empath to stop giving, but one of the most important things that an empath must learn in this lifetime is boundaries. They must learn. That's something I'm still working on. You know, just because I'm teaching this, just because I am talking about this with you, does not mean that I am perfect. I do not want anyone to think that I am some high ascended spiritual master, because I am not. I'm trying to share my personal journey with you, and I have found things that help, things that work, and I want to help. I want to share them with people who are probably at this place where I was and might have been able to prevent my own breakdown, because I failed spectacularly a few times in my life. And if I can help somebody and prevent them from getting to the really dark place that I went to, then this is all worth it. And I think that might be part of why empaths feel pain so deeply, is because then we can help others who are in pain. Alright, so I've got quite a long list here, so I should probably get into it instead of giving too long of an introduction. Oh yeah, I'm in my office now. I finally got the office going. Painted a nice green. You can see my Odin altar behind there, but yeah, not going to go on about this too much. But yes, I'm so happy to have my office working. I can paint in here, and I can do my videos, and I can have a laptop so I can do my writing. I'm so happy that my office is finally together. Anyway, quick nerd out. We talked about cleansings a little bit in my video about house cleansings and blessings and wardings. All of that pretty much applies to people as well. All of the saging or smudging, if you're not using sage but using mugwort or lavender or something of that kind, all of that also applies to people. The difference is instead of just waving it around in the room, you would, this is not lit, but you, instead of waving it around the room, you would just kind of move it over yourself like you're taking a bath in the smoke. So I'm pretty sure I said that in that video, but I am saying it again. Now the thing is, I do that every single day. I do that in the mornings before I leave my house. I have a prayer practice, and I recommend anyone who is even slightly religious to establish a prayer practice. It sounds like, oh, I don't want to do that. That takes up so much time. But if you have a God or gods that you lean on, I really suggest that you lean on them for support. If you just believe in source or spirit, or however you want to phrase the universal energy, that's fine too. I am a polytheist, so I have prayers to the gods, to my gods, particularly Odin these days, although Frigg and Hera and Sigyn have come around lately. Being a polytheist, the gods tend to come around and leave, and, you know, they step forward for a while and then they fall back for a while. It's interesting. Anyway, I could go off on polytheist theology for a while. But I really think that the prayer practice is one of the most important habits that any person with anxiety, any person facing any kind of challenge in their life, but especially an empath or anyone with a psychic gift of any kind. And I try to do mine every day. I'm human, so I don't always succeed. But what I do every day is I light a candle. One of the chime candles, I should have brought one in here to show you, but it didn't. That altar's in my bedroom. I have several in the house. One of the chime candles that are long and skinny and look like a finger, that tall. I light one of those every day in the morning as I'm getting dressed. And then I sage myself, or smudge myself, all over the cleanse. And I also carry sage in an Altoids tin in my purse and in my car. So if I've had a particularly hard day at work and I don't want to wait to get home to get that negative gunk off of me, I can sage in my car before driving home. I think that is extremely important. Going out in public as an empath with those crowds, sometimes you can just get bombarded with a lot of stuff just going on. And I work retail right now, so I get all those crowds for a long shift, and we're headed into Christmas season, so you can imagine it's getting pretty intense right now. The other thing that for me is particularly helpful, which you might have seen me playing with it in some other videos too, is smoky quartz. I've got several things of smoky quartz around the house, and in fact this ring that I wear every day for grounding is also smoky quartz. But this is a smoky quartz egg that was actually given to me for my birthday by a very dear friend of mine. And she actually makes the jewelry, Silver Phoenix Jewelry. If you want to go check her out on Facebook, I'll put a link in the video. She makes really fantastic jewelry. This egg has really changed my life, honestly. She gave it to me 2 years ago for my birthday, and she knew that I was going through some really rough anxiety at the time, and she said it would be good for grounding, which I knew, but I decided to start carrying it with me every day. And it sounds, to someone who doesn't believe in crystals, it does sound really silly to say that this little rock changed your life, but it did. At that time, I didn't within 1 month change anything else, okay? This was the one thing. I meditated with this rock in the morning for maybe 10 minutes, and what I pictured as my shields was a mountain. I picture a mountain growing up from the earth and protecting me, so I become the mountain. Now you can picture other things. My roommate pictures scales, like dragon scales or snake scales, and a lot of people do the white light, which you can do the white light, and it's really effective if some people do the white light. But to me, the white light is very beginner, and I don't know, with me doing the shamanism stuff that I have been working my way through, I tend to do very nature-focused imagery, and the light is just unfocused. That's the word I'm looking for. It's unfocused. And especially since my 3 main signs in astrology, Earth is the thing I lack the most. I need groundedness. I am all over the place. I'm mostly fire. Almost all my planets are in fire. But my rising sign is Pisces, so that's water. And my moon is Aquarius, so that's air. I've got one singular planet, one, and it's an outer planet, so that doesn't even have that much of an effect, in Earth. So I need Earth. I need grounding. So I picture a mountain. And in fact, when I've done the meditative music, I've actually listened to music from The Hobbit. As silly as some of you might find that, but really quiet. Yeah, I need more grounding because that was a very fire thing to do. That was a very clumsy fire thing to do. I'm going to leave that in and not edit it out. And I'm going to set it down. That might have been a message to not ramble about The Hobbit. Alright. I suppose that's enough talking about the smoky quartz. I do have one other rock to show you, and this one is a black tourmaline. This one I wouldn't recommend carrying with you every day, but it is kind of a good one to have in your house. Actually, if you have a small one of these, it might be good to carry with you if you suspect that you are under psychic attack. That's kind of what this is for. This is for psychic attack, energy vampires. This is for a specific kind of people that really drain you, but not the type of energy vampires that don't know that they're doing it. That's probably gonna have to be another subject too, because there are some that just don't know that they're doing it. It's just how they are, you know. You're around them, and then when you're done, you can be around them for 10 minutes, and then you're just drained afterwards, right? Especially for us who are sensitive. Yeah, there are people who know exactly what they're doing when they're siphoning energy off of you. This is the kind of stuff you want. And this is sitting next to my house ward crystal, which I showed you in that video. But when I made that video, I didn't have this, so I would have included this in that one. So it's in this video now. Probably very important for an empath. Alright, essential oils is another thing that I use quite a bit. And some of these are actually from, you know, mystical shops, and some are from normal shops. This one, it's all worn down on the side. This one is from Oil Logic, is the brand, and it's a blend specifically for headache and tension. And so when I feel a headache coming on, because I don't want to use drugs if I don't have to, but I can get these blinding migraines. So if I feel it coming on, I'll just put it on my temples, my wrists, and the back of my neck. It actually smells really good too. And this company doesn't want to let you know which ones are in it, to be honest. Or it might just be that I lost the box that it came with. So I'm not entirely sure what all is in this, but it smells like there's at least some peppermint. But I can tell you it works. I can tell you it works. So, and I'm not being paid. When I'm showing you these, This is no product placement. I got like 15 followers, okay? I am not an influencer. No, nobody's paying me for crap. I'm just showing you what's worked for me. And this is another one from a mainstream brand. I got this at work. Called Nature's Truth Aromatherapy. It's a focus oil blend. And I believe this one is mostly citrus and a few other things. But this one is for focus. Yeah, that smells like citrus and also maybe vervain. But I think there's citrus, peppermint, and vervain. Yeah, and focus. So when you really need to get something done, I use that one. But for protection, I use these two. And this one, you can obviously see, I'm just about out and I need to get more. And I will be doing so soon. By the way, I'll have links to all these in the video, in the description video when it goes up. Alright, this is Uncrossing oil. You can get, Uncrossing is a hoodoo thing, so you can actually get them from Amazon and from lots of different places. But the one that I use, I get from a store in Hartford, Michigan called Arts and Crafts. It's a really fantastic pagan and metaphysical shop. Awesome. So I'll include the link to them. And Uncrossing is specifically to, the same as the black tourmaline, to basically break any bad energy that's been sent your way. The evil eye, or curses too, but like, the important thing to realize is people can send bad energy your way without meaning to. I mean, we talk all the time about the law of attraction, right? And we talk about how thoughts can manifest things. And we talk about how words are spells. But we only talk about that for good things. But people don't realize that, and we talk about that in our own lives. People can send bad energy your way by, let's say your ex, you had a really bad breakup, and your ex is obsessing over it, and like just really, really pissed off. That's what some people would call the evil eye. Like he or she is really like obsessed and pissed off and just thinking about how horrible you are and really mad at you. That's bad juju. This is the stuff that you would want. You know, put it in an oil burner, put it on anoint your door jamb to your front door. So that way nothing gets past your thresholds. And put it on you. The same places that I showed you. Temple, back of the neck, wrist. And it breaks that kind of bad energy headed your way. There are curses that people can send out on purpose, but the majority of bad energy headed your way is probably unconscious. Doesn't mean it's not affecting you. Still should know how to take care of it. Another one I like, and this one I do get from Amazon, is The Art of the Root is the company. It's a Fiery Wall of Protection oil. And this one actually has all the little herbs and stuff in it. So that's really fantastic in my opinion. Alright, another thing that I talked about in my video about house cleansings, but I did not go into all the uses for it, is moon water. Now see, I showed you what you can do with moon water for making the water for making kurnips, for holy water, for cleansings, right? Well, what I didn't say is that you can also drink this. Every morning, I have to take a sip of moon water. But you might want to be careful about what sign it was in when you made it. I completely skipped making moon water last full moon when it was in Aries. Now, that's not saying Aries energy is bad for everyone. Sometimes you need that, fiery energy. I'm a Leo. I have enough fire. This Mercury retrograde is in Scorpio. There's already enough misunderstandings. I'm not going to go into some of the stuff that was going on in my own life, but let's just say I did not need more fire. I skipped it. I did not need Aries. However, I made a massive thing of Taurus moon water. Now, that's not to say that Tauruses can't have anger problems, because sometimes they do. But they have it's a little bit different than Aries anger. And they tend to have a stubbornness and a stick-to-itiveness. And remember what I said about me not having any earth whatsoever in my chart? I need more earth. So, moon water is another thing that you can do to, that I would consider magical self-care. I mean, we're not even really talking about physical self-care, but really, if you're an empath, you should also make sure that your tank isn't running on empty. If any of these rituals or things is something that becomes a chore, something you have to do, and it's wearing you out, you're doing it wrong. Don't do that. You need to take a nice long bath with bath fizzies and give yourself a manicure. I don't know, whatever the hell it is that relaxes you and fills your tank. Because self-care is the most important thing for an empath. You cannot give to the world if you have an empty tank. Self-care. Alright, so, and I don't even pour it into a cup. Okay, this is a mason jar. This doesn't hold anything bad. Literally, all that I have in here ever is moon water and a smoky quartz because I need the grounding. Again, I don't know if you watched the other video. If you're going to put crystals into the water when you make moon water, research the crystal. Most quartz will be fine. Selenite will completely dissolve in water. Some crystals cannot be left in water. You research your crystals before you do this. But I just take a sip in the morning. But I do it mindfully. Don't do it as you're rushing out the door. Okay? I usually do it right after I do my prayers. So, I sit for a minute. I take a sip, and I'm aware that I'm taking in the energy of the moon, the energy of this smoky quartz, the energy of whatever, I've still got Pisces left. So I can choose whether I want spiritual Pisces or whether I want strong, steadfast Taurus right now. So I take in whichever sign. Sorry. So just do it mindfully and be aware of that. And then after that is when I do the meditation with the smoky quartz. That's my routine. Okay. Speaking of routines, I have not met many empaths who like to have their routines disrupted. Most empaths that I've met, now I could be wrong because it's still kind of a small data set. And I'm constantly researching, so hey, share your stories with me if you want to comment, or even email me. AmandaForrester1701@gmail.com. I'm totally willing to talk about this. Most empaths that I have met have come from pretty chaotic homes. I don't know if we were born empaths, or and we chose an environment that was going to be painful for us because it was what we needed, because we needed to experience that pain in order to be able to heal others later on when we've healed ourselves, that whole wounded healer archetype. Or if it's just something in our souls that will always be in our souls no matter what home we're born into, or if empaths are created by the homes that they're born into. But pretty much every empath I've met has come from sad circumstances, let's say. But it makes them stronger usually. If they can get over, if they can heal. I don't like saying get over. That that kind of minimizes pain, and that's one thing I don't want to do, is ever minimize anyone's pain. This is getting really long. This is going to go long. Alright, so because of the chaos that many of us grew up with, routines, I think, are extremely important. Being able to have routines, being able to have structure. Structured socializing is extremely, like board game nights or D&D, as silly as that sounds, makes it a lot easier to socialize and meet people than going to a bar. And it's not just the dense, heavy energy from all the alcoholism. I think it's actually the structured, the way the social interaction is structured, the rules, you know. Anyway, we're running out of time. Meditation. I will end up doing a video on how to meditate, so we're just going to skip on that one. But I've already talked a little bit about visualization and meditation. So meditation. Meditate. If you can't do it every day, I would suggest twice a week at the least. Nature. As I've said, every single empath I have ever met has a connection to animals. But even just being out in nature is amazing. I've known empaths that could just, well, okay, not all of them have green thumbs. But that's generalizing. I love plants. I'm working a lot with plants. But just going out in nature, there's something so restful about being able to sit with the trees and sit on the ground. Now this time of year, it's 40 degrees out. It may not be the best. Maybe the best idea is sit in the snow. Right now all the snow melted, but depending on where you are, if you can go out and just stand outside for a little bit, put your hands on the tree and just talk to the tree. It's the most peaceful feeling that you could have. And most trees are extremely supportive. I say most because they are spirits, and a tree that's sick might not be very happy with humans. And it's just, damn, we're at 28, and there are so much I could talk about. I am going to have to make a video on non-human spirits, and I've been planning on that for a while. Nymphs and things like that, of that nature. Alright. I've got 3 things left. Let's see if I can get to them in the 5 minutes. Shadow work and psychology. I really, really believe that empaths should study as much psychology as they can. Doesn't mean you have to go to college. Just read books. Just try to understand the way the human mind works, because whether you like it or not, you're going to be bombarded with feelings. And you can learn to block them out, and you can learn to transmute that energy, but really we're here, I believe, to help heal. It is an incredible gift. And I ran away and lived in the woods for 2 years because I couldn't handle my life. I literally lived in a shack in the woods for 2 years trying to get away from people and away from society. So I understand when there are empaths who are so powerful that they develop agoraphobia. And I've known some. But that's not what we're here for. We are meant to be among people. Maybe not large crowds. I really feel much better in groups of 2 to 3. And that's where I feel we can do the most good. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to finish this. Alright, clean environment, taking care of your body, eating right, exercise. Okay, I finished the list, but I really won't be able to go into detail. I will make a second video about self-care. I'm sorry. I will get into more detail about Empath Self-Care. That's all I can do today. These videos have to be 33 minutes. I can't go any longer than that. The next time I will be reading runes at MysticBeads and EarthWear in Niles, Michigan is December 1st. Sunday, December 1st, from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. So I hope to see you there. Please like, subscribe, and especially comment. More than anything, I would really love for you to comment, because this is a subject that's pretty near to my heart, and I would love to hear opinions and experiences, and if I can help or learn. I'm still learning. If I can learn from any of you, that would be fantastic. So, I hope you all have a great day, and Mercury goes direct tomorrow, so I am looking forward to that. Skull.